Hello everybody, welcome to Shyam's Storytime. Today I have a very interesting story. It's an old Indian folk tale. It's called Maryada Rama. Some of you have heard of it. So who is Maryada Rama? He is a folk hero in India, especially the southern part of India. So there was this small boy whose name was Rama who turned to become Maryada Rama because he was very good at giving justice or judgment to others. Maryada translates to respect. So today we are going to see the story of how Rama became Maryada Rama. There are many tales of Maryada Rama. So people have conflicts or arguments with each other and then they come to a judge where they present their case and the judge gives the justice. Maryada Rama was one such person who was said to be very just and clear when he heard arguments. Today we are going to hear the story of how Rama became Maryada Rama. So long ago this happened, there was this small boy named Rama who played with his friends. And when he was with his friends, he would play just like any other boy. But whenever there was an argument, or whenever somebody debated over a particular thing, they would all come and tell their friend Rama about all that happened. Rama would patiently hear everything and then he would say what exactly should happen. He would give them a judgment. This had been the case for very long. One day, as Rama was playing along with all his friends, they saw an old lady walking by and she was sobbing like anything. She looked like a very old woman and she kept crying because of some grief that had struck her. Now, Rama took pity on her. He went towards this old lady and asked, "Old woman, what happened? Why are you crying? You look like my grandmother." The woman said, "I have not been given justice by this king at all. He did not hear the argument properly," she said. Now Rama was even more curious to know what it is. "Oh, dear grandmother, please tell me whatever it is. I am here to help you." The old woman started to tell her story. She said that she was an old widow and did not have anybody to take care of her. So she was running a small lodge. A lodge means it was like a hut that she was living in, and passers-by, travelers can come and stay in her house. She would give them a place to stay, she would offer them food, and when they leave, they would pay her a meager amount. This old woman was making a living by running this lodge. One day, there were four men who came to her lodge and they said, "Look here, old woman, we have this small pot. It is full of gold coins and jewelry. It was completely sealed." They handed it to this old woman and told her, "You please take care of it. We will just spend half a day here and then when we leave, we will take this pot from you. Please take very good care of this pot. Do not give it to anybody. Only if all the four of us come and ask you for the pot, you should give it. You should not give it, otherwise," they said. The old woman said, "Okay," and she received the pot and kept it carefully inside the home. Turns out that these four are actually robbers, and all this money and jewelry have been actually their loot. And they wanted to keep it safely and take it away, and maybe share it amongst the four of them. That was the plan. There was one of these four who wanted to take it away without these other three members. He was waiting for a chance. So they stayed in the lodge. They had food that the old lady offered, and all the four of them were sitting outside in the veranda, the porch. There was another woman who passed by. She was a hawker. She was selling buttermilk. So she asked, "Would you like to have buttermilk?" The man said, "Yes, why not?" And when she bent down and she was going to serve, there were no pots there into which she can fill in the buttermilk. So the four of them sent one amongst them inside the home to fetch a pot. This fourth man was the one whom I said was eyeing on an opportunity to pick up everything and leave. So he went inside and told the old woman, "Can you give me the pot? The other three are asking." The woman thought for a while, "I'm not supposed to give it to you. Only when all the four of you come together and ask, I have to give." He said, "No, no, you can ask the other three. They are just sitting at your porch. You can just call out to them through the window. They will respond. It was them who asked me to bring it." So she looked out his window. All the three of them were sitting. And she said, "Your friend is asking me for a pot. Should I give him?" She asked. The three of them said, "Yes, old lady, we only asked him to fetch the pot. Please give him quickly. We are waiting." They said. Now the old lady thought it was the sealed pot which had all the gold coins and jewelry. So she gave it to this fourth person who came and asked. Very quickly, he grabbed it from the old lady and walked out of the house through the back door. She wondered for a moment, why is he going through the back door? A short while later, the three of them who were waiting outside, they came inside and asked, "Where's our friend? Didn't you give him the pot?" "Yes, I did. Because you all asked me, I gave him the pot. He took the sealed pot and went through the back door," she said. "What? Which pot are you talking about? We asked him to fetch an empty pot to buy buttermilk in. Did you give him the sealed pot?" She said, "Oh yeah, that's what I thought you asked me to give." They said, "You wretched woman, you have fooled us now. You have to pay us the price for it." This and that, they started to scold the old lady. Was it actually her fault? It was not, right? Because she thought the other three men only asked her to give the pot. These three men dragged her to the court and spoke to the king. The king heard both the parties and said, "This old woman has done a mistake. She must give the pot or pay a fine of 1,000 gold coins." Where will she go for that much money? She was, after all, a very poor woman. She was making a livelihood just by running this lodge. She narrated this story to Rama. Rama heard her and said, "No, the king should not have done this at all. The king has done a mistake," he said. There were a few spies of the king who were passing by and they heard Rama. They could not accept it at all. Immediately they grabbed Rama and took him to the court. The king asked, "What happened? I heard you badmouthed my judgment." He said. Rama said, "Yes, indeed. What you have done is wrong. You did not hear the case properly, and this old lady has not been given justice at all." But the king was a very open-minded person. So he said, "Okay, I will give you a separate seat. Let us call it the judge's seat. You sit there. Let me see how you hear this case and give the judgment." So the king asked for both the parties to come. So the three men came, the old woman was also there. Rama sat on the seat that was provided to him, and he heard the entire story from the beginning till the end, from the mouths of these three men. At the end of it, he said, "This old lady should return the pot to you. I understand, but as per your promise, only when all the four of you come together and ask, she can give the pot, right? So the four of you come and ask her, she will give the pot." This is what Maryada Rama said. Now everybody that had assembled, they were taken aback because all of them knew that the old woman has not done a mistake. But here she was at the receiving end. Nobody could believe her, right? But Rama had given a good justice. Hearing this judgment, the three men were taken aback. That is true, right? Only when all the four come and ask her, she must hand over the pot. Where will they go for the fourth person now? He has already taken the pot and he's gone somewhere. Can they find him? If at all they find him, they will anyway get the pot also. And the old woman was so relieved. She was just having tears in her eyes. She fell at the feet of Rama and she could not thank him enough. All the people that had assembled were also so happy hearing this judgment given by Rama. Now the king was very happy. He came up to Rama and said, "From today you will be called as Maryada Rama," and gave him a new turban. He said, "You will run a separate court. Whenever there are cases, they can come and present it to you. You must give the judgment," said the king. Such an open-minded king, is it not? He did not feel jealous over this small boy. Rather, he gave him a new position of the city judge. This is how Rama became Maryada Rama. That is the end of today's story. Did you like the story? If you did, subscribe to my YouTube channel, Shyam's Storytime. You will have access to many stories I upload. My name is Shamala and I am a passionate storyteller. I will see you in the next story. Bye-bye.